Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps, Daily Teachings, FOMC special, guys. There's a full playlist of FOMC recaps that you can watch, and this one goes in there as well. Sorry for a late video. I was trying to get the video out early, but I recorded one 40 minutes long, and the voice was not recorded. Anyways, guys, big day, huge day, big day for the community members, big day for a lot of my followers who follow my teachings. So we'll see how we traded FOMC and how we trade the red day, how we managed. A lot to cover, guys, today. If you were short today, long today, you did not trade, you're going to learn a lot in this recap. But before we start, we're going to do introduction. You can skip the introduction and just go to the segment that you want to hear. But let's start with the introduction here, guys. So all these trade recaps and all these teachings are either from X, Twitter, or my YouTube, or mostly from our community. We trade a repeatable system that's used by thousands of traders across the world to trade consistently. We trade Ripster EMA Clouds, the MTF cloud system, and we have a bunch of concepts that I teach every day on Twitter, on my free website, Ripster Education, and to you guys on YouTube. We've used those concepts to trade repeatable setups which arise from our system. Every day we have a game plan, we have a watch list of breakout plays, news plays, market plays, earnings, and we have a general planning in the pre-market support, resistance, and a game plan. Today I was having some technical issues, so I did not provide full detailed game plan, but you can watch our previous recaps, or I share sometimes the free game plan on my X as well. You can go and watch there. So this was the plan, news on Tesla, Amazon, all that. Of course, mostly we traded was the FOMC, which we're going to cover mostly in this video. We also have our day 2, day 3 setup. Today, RH, Adobe, UNH, Marvel. Those were few of our day 2, day 3 setups. Not going to cover too many day 2, day 3 setups in this video. You can watch the previous playlists where I cover day 2, day 3 repeatable strategy. I did do a free webinar on X as well, teaching about this strategy. Anyways, we also provide our daily levels for SPY, QQQ, IWM, VIX. These levels were very important today because they helped us manage our trade from long to short, which we're going to cover. And of course, there are levels on everything else: SMCI, Google, AVGO, Amazon. We also provide crypto levels: coin, MSTR, CLSK, Mara, Bitcoin, and using support and resistance pivots, and using EMA cloud systems. Repeatable strategy that you can use to trade consistently, so that you don't have to make trading decisions based upon your own personal bias, but rather with the repeatable system. I'm usually on the voice in the community first few hours. Today, of course, was a crazy day, so I was online on the voice most of the day. We have a bunch of screeners. We have 3 option flow scanners, which we use it in the community. We have stock scanners, breaking news. We have a bunch of breaking news alerts on the voice. We have a voice stock scanner, breaking news alerts on the floor, support, resistance, and we have a vibrant community. We are not an alert service. Vibrant community of very smart traders. 1,000+ traders are trading in the community every day on the trading floor, sharing ideas and helping each other to succeed in the financial markets. And I'll show you my timestamp guidance. And mostly today I was on voice, so I don't have too much on the show there, but we'll definitely show you what I was guiding through all the trades today is what we're going to cover. We're going to start with SPY QQQs, and then we'll go through the other longs and the shorts in the community, and we'll go through there. Anyways, that's enough for introduction. Let's start. All right, guys, we're going to start with SPY. We're going to start with what we were doing on, we will start to talk, first we'll talk about what we were doing in SPY in the morning. Why was it a long setup and when it went into the chop, and then we'll talk about, the FOMC trades and everything. We'll cover all that. But let's first talk about what was happening in the morning. So this morning, SPY, if you see, we were gapping up, and it covered all the gap in the pre-market only. It went up, it covered back. It was basically opening a flat, and it went long right at the open. You see, this is our Ripster 512 curls. This is our MTF breakout, and it went long right there. Same for QQQs. Bounced on the MTF Ripster clouds, a repeatable system that we use, and pushed, and then pulled back and went into the chop all day long. If you see my timestamp guidance in the morning, I will show you something here, what we talked about. Once we were pushing into that this breakout. That's a good long. I didn't trade that long, but when we started to reject here, right here, I said pre-market high rejections on SPY. Same time QQQ was a rejection, then pulled back, up, down, and that was the chop, guys. That was the chop. We are usually very cautious when the market opens because we always have a calendar for what is going to happen. If you go in the week ahead, we have a calendar of what happens every day. What happens, like what are the market moving events during the week. So we know we had FOMC decision at 2 p.m. Then we know we had 2:30 p.m. Fed Chair Powell conference. So we were ready for today. We were little bit of cautious this morning, but regardless, a lot of things were running. SPY was running, Apple was running, Tesla trade, we will cover that, was pushing, NVDA was pushing. So we'll cover some of our long trades later, which later turn into the bearish short trades. But so that was the morning long, and then now we're going to talk about the FOMC. All right. So what happened today, right? So, guys, you need to understand that market has been running crazy bullish without any decent pullback. Last pullback we had was back in October, was just one small pullback. And before that, I think there was Japan, yen trade and a few pullbacks. But today's pullback was 375% ATR. And VIX, right? So we'll talk about all that. And VIX went over as far as 27. So why did this happen? Of course, we can discuss a little bit macro here. So Powell came up with a 25 cut. That was fine. That was expected. But the tone about next year was pretty hawkish. So that was the thing. We were expecting 4 cuts next year. Now they're talking about 2 cuts, and inflation is still not gone. So market didn't like it, right? So market is forward looking. Market didn't like that, and on top of that, market needed a pullback, right? So you need to understand you need to understand what cycle market is running at. So market has a bull cycle, or within a bull cycle, market has a pullback cycle, right? These are the pullback cycles: pullback. So we had those pullbacks, and then it bounces from there. And every stock in Magnificent 7 was running. But if you look at SPY equal weighted, which is RSP, it was not really healthy. It was falling down for days and days. What that means is only the big 7 were keeping SPY up, because Microsoft, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Google, everything was all-time high. It was keeping the market up. But finally, it broke today. Most of the stocks were already weak, but when the big 7 faded, everybody panicked, started selling, and it was a big, huge red day. Nothing surprising there. And VIX went over the breakouts. We'll cover all that. So now let's analyze how we traded, how the traders had a great day today, and how we managed our FOMC trade. So there's a few things to look at, right? So what is our system we use, right? So our system consists of levels, EMA clouds, and our concepts. I tweeted about something, few days back. You need to understand what makes the market. To trade the FOMC volatility, I tweeted that yesterday, you need to know the US dollar bond yields, VIX, and index ETFs. So to see how to track the market like a pro. So yields were running after, and VIX went crazy. So that means there's no reason to go long anything, which as long as VIX is strong, you do not long, especially if VIX goes over 18, 20. Market is very scary. This VIX over 20 market is very scary. So we use the VIX strategy. It's a repeatable strategy. I've covered it many times. You can go to ripstereducation.com. You can see that how this strategy has changed so many lives. Even before I had a private community, I still teach 99% of stuff to everyone. But this strategy is important. Right. So all these concepts, using our MTF clouds, which are the daily and 1 hour EMA clouds, and our regular EMA clouds, we could manage this trade effectively today. So let's talk about it. Okay. So 2 p.m. the news hit. 2 p.m. they came up with the 25 BPS. But in that 25 BPS, when you dig a little deeper, we realized the tone for next year, that how they're going to handle it, and that's why market kind of puked initially. So let's talk about it. Initially, when we pulled back here, market started to bounce from the pre-market lows. I had told everyone to not do anything, right? So I think I mentioned that. Let me show you. I said don't do anything initially. This is 203. Came out at 2, market pulling back. I said do not do anything. But when we broke the lows, so we are already breaking the MTF clouds and EMA clouds. We are already breaking the 1 hour trend. So we are already bearish here. We can short it, but we can't short here because it can bounce right on our face from the support. We are already breaking this one at QQQs. So we are always already breaking that support. And VIX, we are watching the VIX levels, right? This morning, we were watching the VIX. I gave these levels. If you go on the levels that I gave in the pre-market, you can pause the screen, look at 1594 and 1620. Those were two breakout levels. And VIX broke out of 1620. The breakout level, that was a signal. That's the time to short. And it was when we broke the pre-market lows, that was the time to start the short. And that's when I told everybody, bearish short scalps. And now, how do we know how far it can go? So, we'll talk about how we manage our longs. It can, as far as VIX keeps running, guys, we can keep going lower. There is nothing too low, nothing too high. If you just blindly look at RSI, oversold, there's nothing like that. Day like today, you do not buy the dips. You see, Ripster Cloud never gave us a signal to buy the dips, not to do anything. We broke, this is where you first short, then we broke the 20 EMA MTF cloud, there was another short, and then we hit the lower MTFs, right? From 20 EMS to the 50 EMS on the daily chart. And there were three potential pivots to take a short position. The first was right when we broke the pre-market lows. The second was when Powell started speaking. If Powell is speaking, market is not recovering, that means we are going to stay bearish because he started speaking. Maybe he says something good, but he actually said something bad. He said that, the rate cut, this decision was a close call, right? He meant that we might have not cut today as well. So, and then market flushed again. And when he stopped talking, then market flushed again. So those three pivots were your shorts, you short this block, this block. But so now let's talk about this, this move. So first of all, those who follow my teachings or anybody who follows on my on Twitter or you are in my community, I strictly never let anybody buy these dips. They're D- dips. Look what I said here. I talked about here. I continuously talked about. I said longs are D-. Purely dependent on Powell. D- means you do not do it. Trend is still bearish and will be dictated by VIX. So we continuously watched VIX, everybody in the community. So continuously we were short. So I will show you how to trade those options. But you see that bearish shorts, we were covering this at MTFs right here. And then I also always explain to roll your profits. And then we covered some more. But when it started to breaking down on the Powell started talking, then you add more. Right, so then you can add more. Look what I said here. When Powell started speaking, I said can add, roll, or runners. And if you feel FOMO, you're missing it out, and don't be scared to buy the puts, guys. It's the same thing. Inverse your charts if you do not get it. It's just buying the calls. You buy the puts. It's that simple. It's all mentality, because if you are not making use of this volatility, you're going to miss those big days. That's fine. Sitting on hands is fine. If you don't want to risk, that's fine as well. But if you want to learn this high volatility trades on FOMC, it's a simple system. It's not that tough to do it, right? Even if you bought one contract, which we'll talk about it, you could really do good there. So anyways, we were short. Dave was on the voice, I was on the voice, and I even tweeted about all that. I was continuously tweeting about the setups. Let's see here, so SPY VIX strategy, we talked about the SPY VIX. I said 1680, that's a key pivot. 600 was a big level on SPY, 6000 on SPX, big level, huge level. If that level breaks, we go lower, and we faded, more faded, right? So if you want to look here, so this is how we were trading it, right? So we were on the voice. So I constantly tell everybody, do not, because if you cover those puts, then you're not going to make exponential gains. So you see in the community, AB Guy Weight Soup 200%, 900, 400%, G-Man 100%, 50%, Sophie made 500%, right? Albert 350%. So, and that we were already making that move on these initial flushes, and we were still rolling further, because yes, you don't have to look at others, but you have to build this habit of holding your longs. So anyways, let's first discuss. So this was the guidance, and I'm simply following the system, guys. It's nothing that I'm genius or something. What you see, the same thing I see. I have given you the system, but you have to have that mental capacity to hold. And I try to make sure that I tell my traders, tell them to hold. Nothing is too low. Lower MTF was my target. We broke that. We even met more. So upper MTFs, you can see my target 600, then 530. Then my final target was the lower MTF cloud. From upper to lower, the puts were at 4, 5, 600%. And similarly for QQQs, from upper MTF to lower MTF was my target. And it was still heavy. Still failing. Because look at the VIX. SPY VIX strategy, guys. VIX. Every time VIX makes a new leg up, you need to hold your puts. And you need not touch any longs, guys. We'll talk about that later. So you see that VIX at 1640, break that, 1680 breakout, then 20 breakout, 22 breakout, then 25 breakout. So as long as VIX is going, you can long VIX calls, guys. You can do leverage ETFs. Vin came in nicely today. He's talking about SQQ long. There's opportunities everywhere to make money when the market is fading. So, look at the SQQ went from 28, 29 bucks to 31 bucks. You could risk $500 and you could make $1,500, $2,000 there on such trade, leverage ETFs, right? Or you trade QQQ puts and you always roll further. Let's say, and since we are not an alert service, but all these traders, you're seeing them making 100, 200, 300%. They're executing the education that I've been teaching for so long, free. And of course, when I teach now in the community, I'm sure a lot of you guys executed a lot of good DMs as well. So you guys did, so let's look at some examples of trading those options. And again, you can trade anything. You can leverage ETFs. You can go long on UVXY, which is an leverage ETF for VIX. And that your systems are telling you, your MTF cloud, your VIX, everything is telling you that there is no long there. So let's look at this. Let's just quickly look at the 600 puts because they're closest when we started failing and when I mentioned that. So if you see that, so these were 600 puts, right? Right when we started to short the market at 2, right? They're trading like at $2, right? And they went all the way to $16, right? So if you're trading $2, you have $2,000 worth of puts. Once you make $2,000, you log $1,000, you leave rest of the 1,000, and that 1,000 becomes another 4,000 or 5,000. That's why you leave the runners, right? And or you roll. If you had those 600 puts, you made something good. And this I have been teaching you for a long time in previous videos as well. Let's say you want to roll into 595s. Right, so you want to roll into the 595s, and you can see that once you have made money on 600s, you can buy these 595s at $3. They went 100% as well, right? So they went from if you left $1,000, they became another $2,000, $1,500. So that's how you roll it. There is no buying, guys. There is no buying. You see, understand how the market works. Yields are riding, VIX are rising. And let's look at this trade from Tape, right? Tape was on a voice as well. He alerted 559, 650 SPX put at 50 cents, which went from 50 cents to $80, right? You have one, even if you lock at 100, 200%, that's fine. Even if you left one contract, guys, that $100 becomes $8,000. So that's power of leaving the runners. That's continuously what I keep saying in the community as well. Leave runners, leave runners, leave runners. Look here, runners, those in profit can add, hold, and leave runners, because that's how you will maximize your profit on a day like today. That's how so many traders in the community, so many traders in great days, right? Look at Aquarius. His put, he held his put all the way. Low can go lower. All those repeatable teachings, right? Mark Bannon made 2,300%. And everyone in the community really did well, and I got some nice DMs as well, because this is the power of using a system and repeatable. And this is the power of, guys, rolling with your profits, right? That's the power. That's how you see Murli rolled from 70%, 100%, 125% to 20%, right? So that's the power. And even when you think it's done, it's not done, right? Let's say you're trying to bounce it at the end of the day. Look at it. It was even failing after hours. Now you could even cover your shorts after hours. SPY QQQ options work 15 minutes after close. You can cover there. And one thing which we are going to cover next is you need to understand when market is heavy, everything sells, guys. Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Google, everything sells. You can literally short anything. We'll cover that. Let's look at next one. All right, let's look at next one we're going to look at is IWM. So IWM I have often discussed is the most rate sensitive index, right? Because it consists of all the stocks, all the companies which need to borrow money, which need more money to be, to succeed and be profitable. So they are most, if you are telling me there will be less rate cuts next year, and the IWM has been thinking that there's going to be more rate cuts. So market is forward running. We're already been running crazy and thinking that next year is going to amazing rate cuts. So that's why IWM sold again 330%. That's why IWM was a good short. I said IWM is the best short because it's the most rate sensitive name. Look at those levels that we gave in the pre-market. Once those levels were gone on IWM, let's look here. Once those levels were gone, that was it, right? So use Ripster EMA Cloud System. So if you look here on IWM, let's see here, right? EMA Cloud 1 hour break rejections, EMA MTF Clouds 50 rejections, and that's how you trade it, right? Look at Addy. Addy did 50%, 100% on IWM on 2 trades. Right? So those are the kinds of trades you should be able to do, right? See, Mark Bannon did 4,000% because IWM was a better short put as well because it's such a huge range on IWM. And you have to see, guys, there's no buying. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, continue selling. And if you say that, oh, I can't do that, how do I know? This comes from experience. You can tell that this thing is not bouncing. You can risk the candle highs for your short puts and get in the puts. And if you think, oh, I'm worried, then you take small position, take a small 1-2 contracts that if it swipes, you do not lose much. And if it works on your favor, you start scaling in, right? So let's talk about, let's look at 288 put. Right, so we're looking at the 288 put on IWM. Right, let's say you want to long it and you long it at $1.50. That's fine. It's already sold few candles. You long 2 contracts, just go to 3. You add more into that. That's fine. Your average increases over 2, but now you have a bigger position, and now that bigger position goes to $6 and move your stops break even. Right, so you add into your position once they start working on such a big huge days, right? So that's how you can take that. That's how Mark Bannon took it 4,000% or 3,000%. That's how Doc JBK took it 450%, right? So that's the power of that, right? Raju Natarajan took it 550%. Frying Pan covered it for 90%. So this is the power. This guy, everyone is executing with their confidence, guys. It's not just about, oh, we are alerting. No, it's about education, repeatable concepts that I teach you, show you day in and day out. So anyways, IWM was a special short, rate sensitive name. That's why, and nothing is too low. Forget RSI. When something is selling off, the yields are going higher, VIX is going higher. Everything Apple, Microsoft is selling, it can keep going sell. Watch the 10-minute candles. Watch for the bear flags all day short. So let's look at semiconductors, right? So SMH, SOXL, semis always get hit hard with the tech when QQQ selling. Like I said, you could literally short anything on a day like today. Look at SOXL, MTF daily, MTF 1 hour, A+. Our system is telling us it's a short. Then it breaks under yesterday's lows, right? Of course, we have a swing, right? But we have a swing as well, which ran from 26. But you have to cut that swing when we are breaking those clouds, and it's so much damaging us. So we'll talk about that as well. But the point is, you can literally short any semiconductor, Taiwan Semi, Qualcomm, ARM. Look at the flush. This is the signal it gave you short, and you don't look back. Closer to the cloud, the short, it's better, right? So you can trade SPY, QQQ, leverage ETFs, put options, or you can trade these stocks which get hammered with the market because it's a complete sector which is getting sold off, right? So that's why we have our chip sector on our watch list every day. Look at ASML. It flushed from 748 to 700. Everything sells off with the market, guys, when there's such a big sell-off and VIX goes crazy. So learn that, understand it. Doesn't matter you have to trade everything. You just have to trade one or something. If you trade semis short, that's fine. If you trade something else short, that's fine. You just have to be part of the move. Here is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is not immune to the market. Bitcoin is selling off as well. MSTR was a nice short there, right? So MSTR nice short from that breakdowns, and similarly coin was a nice short, and I give those levels every day in the pre-market because we know there's an opportunity there, coin MSTR, because if Bitcoin is not immune to the market, Bitcoin is selling off, coin is rejecting under the MTF clouds and breaking down, it's a bearish setup, lower lows, lower highs, you make use of those opportunities. So not only that, right? Magnificent Seven, right? Apple, Google, Amazon. You literally short anything. Let's look at Microsoft. I've been on voice. I said you can short it. Look where it's rejecting. When low of the days breaks down, it's gonna go much lower. This tells you it's gonna go much lower. Look from the first MTF to the second MTF, and look at Netflix. Rejected from that MTF, and then it's failing under the lows of the day. It's gonna go right. You short that. Amazon breaking on this trend line and then breaking under yesterday's lows, it's going to go lower. You do not buy them. When it does it, you do not buy. You do not buy. You do not buy. That's how you get bagged. Doesn't mean you have a long-term position, because market always moves in a cycle, right? Highs, lows. You buy when market is in a correction bounce phase. You do not buy when everything is all-time highs for your investment. When it's a market moves in a cycle, up, down, up, down, up, down. If you're buying long term here, that doesn't make sense to me. If I'm buying NVIDIA long term at 145, and if I'm risking $40, it can come to $100, who cares? I'm long term. That's very foolish. If I'm ready to let go my position down 30-40% on a long term, I want to be a long term where I have a less risk. I want to be long term on AMD at 115, 110, 120. If I'm 120, I'm risking $20 so that in 2 years I can make 150 or double my investment, risking just $20. So every investment has a risk. So understand that when you're trading, how you do that. Okay, so that was all the Magnificent Seven we could short. That's what I teach as well. So literally, you see the whole market was a short today. And let's go to the next one. All right, guys, let's talk about Tesla. So what was Tesla doing? We were actually long Tesla in the morning, and today was so important, guys. See how everything was so bullish. Nobody was expecting this tone from Powell or Fed. There was insane amount of flow, right? So I was on the voice and I was guiding everybody on the Tesla longs. I sent an alert on the 512 calls here. I told everybody to put the stops at 469. Insane amount of flow, guys. Insane amount of flow. And that's how we traded it long, right? We traded it long. I kept moving the stops up. From the 512 calls, we got, almost 40, almost $20 from our 512 call on that long, guys. Look at that move, right? So we were long here. You can see that 488.90, 490 were my two targets. We hit 488. We were short of our 490 target. Then I said exit. Look here where I said exit. 512 breaks, exit. 512 break, exit. You can use 3450 as your final risk. You see, since I exited here, it faded. Then it faded to MTF clouds. You see the system bounce once, bounce twice, bounce thrice. But when it fails here, this is where you completely get out. You do not touch it, because that's the time when market is making that crazy move. And Tesla has ran so much, you should be ready, right? If you are holding the lotto calls of 500 and you did not cut today, that's a big mistake, right? You have to cut. We'll talk about AMD and NVIDIA and AMD and show you have to cut. And you have to short it. So Tesla is a short here. Right here, Tesla is a short. On this trend line break, you put your stops here at 469, you short it. Right, so that's and I said it a few days ago that a $30 flush is coming soon, and we got much more than $30. I was expecting the flush closer to 500, but we got the flush earlier thanks to Powell, not complaining. But you can see the power of system. The system tells you where to cut here, cut here, cut here. Market is not bullish. You do not buy. You do not buy. I do not let anybody buy when this is doing this. We don't simply care. The clouds are bearish. We do not touch it. Focus on your setup. Just don't focus on Tesla is a great stock. Buy. It's dipping. Imagine if somebody was buying here, he destroyed. People who might have made a lot of money buying Tesla dips last few weeks, last few months, probably got destroyed and gave up everything they made on Tesla in this one flush. zero DT calls, longs, right? So you simply don't do that. That's how you manage your risk. You see, we were long, and I told everybody to exit, and I didn't tell anybody to long, and that's what the traders in the community do. They follow the system, and even the traders who are not in the community, they're still following the system. Now funded 70% on Tesla. KKR, we did 420 puts, right? A lot of traders, everybody was trading that. Alex did pretty good on Tesla short. So you see that's how you manage your longs and move from bull to bear. This is a 1 hour trend which broke down, and then it flushes. Similar trade was NVIDIA for us. We were long on NVIDIA in the morning. So NVIDIA, same thing. We had a news, we had a flow. So I gave on the voice, I mentioned this long on the bounce. I gave the targets 136, and I was continuously talking about insane flow on NVIDIA. So we were long. You can see flag break. I'm giving the stops. I gave this long guidance with stops here. We pushed $2. MTF cloud resistance, that's expected. Then 512 calls, we held, expected. So we were long all the way, making some money. That's fine. But this is your first warning to get out. This is your second warning. You actually get out here. Don't even hold. And look what I said. Cut. Both cut. NVIDIA cut, AMD cut. Look at the time, 206. You have to cut, guys. I don't care. I just have to follow my system. I don't care I'm a long-term investor or what. We were trying to swing it based upon this bounce. But imagine if we did not cut it. Same for AMD. We were trading this long on the MTF breakout right here. And we cut it. Imagine if we didn't cut, we would have lost down $6. We do not trade that. The key part of my teachings is to make sure anybody who listens to my teaching, you do not lose. You will not lose money, crazy money under my guidance. That I promise you. Otherwise, you will lose. People will tell you buy the dips, so RSI is high, buy the dips, and you will continuously to lose there. Look at what the chart is telling you. Look at what the chart is telling you. Look at the 1 hour chart, which is a bearish chart. Look at the daily chart, it's a bearish chart. Look at the failed push over the clouds. It's that's why I said AMD, NVIDIA cut, right? So you have to cut. That's how you manage your position. I showed you on AMD, showed you on NVIDIA. We can always buy again, no big deal, right? Because you cannot predict the bottom. Yes, you think, it cannot go lower, buy, but that's not a repeatable strategy, because the day, and a lot of that happened with a lot of traders today, the day you think it's too low, it's going to blow in your face, and you are going to lose so much money. And a lot of traders did lose a lot of money today on a lot of names. NVIDIA was relatively didn't fade that much, right? Imagine you were trying to buy Tesla or AMD today, right? So when these sellings happen, these are not just the retail traders, it's institutions, it's huge sell-offs. VIX, guys. When VIX is over 1820, you need to be careful, right? So tomorrow we'll see what happens. If VIX goes under 20, we might see the bounce or something. So anyways, guys, so that was the recaps on Tesla, AMD, NVIDIA. Let's look at some few plays. Another importance, how to manage your longs. VKTX was a swing that we closed in a loss here because our stop was there, and then it was also on our game plan this morning. If we look at VKTX, you can see that we had a where is that VKTX? Merck Inc.'s deal with Merck had a deal on the GLP-1 on the weight loss med, and that's why VKTX was super duper heavy. And same was Lilly, but VKTX was main being impacted. So I told everyone VKTX close, stops hit. Why? Let's show you why. You see this chart here on VKTX. Look at this weekly chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. More times the support is tested, bigger the breakout. And you see once it broke down, look at the flush. If I did not cut at 46, I would be down $8 per share. What's the use of it? Now I can buy it again on any support level or any reclaim or any bounce. So you need to understand, as a swing trader investor, stock is good, amazing fundamentals, but doesn't mean you keep buying the tops and buying the tops and buying the tops, and then you are sitting on a 40% drawdown. That's not how you invest, guys. And once I launch Tenet Research, we'll talk more about that. But that's not how you do it. So you see, and you short it. A lot of traders in the community, who had a loss on that swing, actually made money shorting it and covered some of their loss, right? So that was VKTX. So that was VKTX. Another example of that is CELH, right? A lot of traders long term invested, but we have to respect the system. 1 hour is bearish, fail to get over the MTF clouds. When something's not over 50 MTF clouds, guys, I don't like to trade or invest in that. I wanted to push over that. Very certain exceptions, I will take it. And then it's also broke 20 EMA. And this morning there was a news. Remember what I teach you about analyst upgrades and downgrades, right? Right from that analyst, Morgan Stanley. When Morgan Stanley says something, you listen. Morgan Stanley says something, you listen, right? So I read it was same that faded later. So CELH was short all day. I was on voice most days, so I talked about that as well. On CELH. So you see that you could short here, short all day, and when market sells off, something which is weak will become more weak. Remember that, and that becomes an A plus short. Let's look at UNH now. So UNH was our long this morning. We were long on UNH. I gave the long when I saw the 3450 curls, and my first target was 502. Then my second target was 3450. You see that UNH didn't really get hampered by what market did today. It didn't really care. So that tells me when market bounces, UNH will be A plus. So we'll be watching this UNH tomorrow if it holds this 498 level. Was a decent long. It's fine if you closed, because of that market. But you see how UNH held. Always notice the stocks which hold on their own, even if the whole market is selling off. All right, let's look at one of the longs and low floaters today. So I tweeted this news today on, by the way, all my market short guidance was on Twitter as well. You can see that I was not on voice, but I told everybody, do not buy, do not buy. Time to buy will come. Look at, since I told, even we went lower, right? So let's look at that. Let's see where it is. Let's look at AEMD. And by the way, what a great job by Tape today. I mean, literally, traders killed it today in the community. Yep, it was nice. Yeah, look at that, everyone, right? Mark Bannon, amazing job. Jalen Wilson, everybody had amazing trade. Cash had from $1.25 to $40. Look at that, guys. $1.25 to $40. I mean, love it. Love to see this, guys. Love to see this. Proudly says nobody has better education and guidance than us. We are not the alert service, but without being an alert service, we are making assistant traders. So anyways, I tweeted this news on AEMD. Watch the bird flu stocks. I tweeted the AEMD. Nice trade. I'll show you that. And traders made money on that. You see that when this bird flu in California, emergency, these are keywords. This tells you it's a good long. That's why I told everybody penny stock long on the bird flu. Everybody knows 512 is your risk. 45s, almost 100% trade there, and I was done by end of the day, and I told I'm done. And then it faded, of course. It's a penny stock, it's a trash. You get in and get out on the hype and trade that. So that was the last one, guys. Anyways, had few some other things to cover, like RH was going nicely over the MTF clouds earlier. That gave up. Few other trades, but understand the concept. MTF cloud was very important today, guys. Very important. Anyway, guys, thank you. Take care. Bye bye.